I thought we could take a little helicopter tour from the Nice airport down to Mougins and then down to Cannes and back. So what I did first was I went on Google Maps and just got directions from the airport to Mougins. Actually, there's two ways to go. You can go, well, you start out on the same route, it's A8, but then you have a choice to continue on A8 or branch off onto a road called D35 about 10 miles down the road, which is actually quite a bit more scenic, it looks like to me. So that's the road I chose. So first I went to get my position the helicopter, so I go to the airport here and click on that to get the coordinates. Then that's copied to the clipboard. Then I go down and I open up Flight Simulator and I click on the world map and I click in the search bar to enter the coordinates, Control V, and I pick that as my departure. Now, because I want to fly at 1,500 feet, I have to actually put in a destination, or else the helicopter might not do that, even though it says it's going to. So I'm going to pick a destination in this case, just because that gives you the option to choose your altitude. Otherwise, you can't choose it. So I click on arrival, and then I click on this navlog button up here. And you won't ever have to do this unless you're going to fly. But I'm just changing it from 4,500 down to 1,500 feet here. And then we'll be ready to go. Also, you can tell it's dark. And it's usually dark because it goes by Universal Time, and if I'm in the daytime here in California, it's usually dark over at Greenwich, or any place in Europe. So this has to load up for a little bit, and then we'll get going. So now we've got the helicopter over the Nice airport, and I'm just going to go in here and change the time so that it's daylight, and then we'll start flying. Just checking my altitude. I'm at 1,500 feet there, and we're taking off. So I know that the bridge I want to take is the uppermost one of those two, so I'm just going to head over there. I'm going to try to fly over the road as much as possible. It does go through the forest in places, and it's pretty hard to see the road, so I might get temporarily lost, but you still get the idea. It's really pretty. I can't remember what time of year I picked. You can change the seasons somewhat on this, although not as much as I would like. The new version that's coming out next year, you're supposed to be able to really change the seasons, put in snow and stuff like that. So you see up ahead on just a little bit on the left, there's a big racetrack, horse racing. And this is the road we want to follow for the first 10 miles at least. As I said, you can stay on this main road, A8, all the way pretty much to just south of Mougins. Then you have to go north to Mougins. But it's a toll road, and it looks like there's no way to completely avoid the tolls. And even if you take the scenic route that I'm taking here today, when we get there. As you can see, there's off to the left, there is a beach road that you can take too. I think it's, I don't know if it goes all the way down to Cannes or not. I imagine it does, but not the best way to get to Mougins. I think it's pronounced Mougins. I went on Google, asked for the pronunciation, and that's the way they pronounced it. And up ahead on the left you see actually a flat-topped building here that I'm pointing to. That's looks like it's a mall, I believe, and it's just past that we get off the A8 and take the scenic route, or else stay on the A8. There's a toll plaza on the exit from the A8 that you have to go through. And that's about over in here. I just pointed to the major toll plaza. That's on the A8 itself. The other one is, as you can see, is just off to the right there, right to the right of that building. That one you have to take if you're getting off the road. If you stay on the road, then you go through the big one. Actually, that big one is the eastbound one. There's a westbound one that's a bit further up. Anyway, the road you see to the left of the freeway and the toll booth is the road that I chose to get off on, so to speak. It's called D35, and it goes up here a ways. That road right there, and that's the eastbound toll booth. We come up here a ways and you can start to make out the westbound toll booth, where things are kind of widening out there. And what happens is, you'll see in a minute, beyond these trees here that we're approaching, the D35 goes underneath the freeway and heads up northwest. And that's where I'll try to follow it. There it's going under. You see off to the right. So we'll turn and try to follow that road. Here's where it's going to get a little bit tricky, because I don't know if the trees are really this thick in real life, but the computer certainly has put a lot of trees there, and sometimes it's hard to see the road. I know from the Google map directions that you go up here a ways, and then you kind of make a left in a traffic circle or something, and head down the road. I suspect that I've gotten off to the north a little bit here. There are a couple landmarks that I memorized from the map that I don't see right now, that hopefully will come into view. Oh, there's one of them. It's that field there to the left that's beige and green. And the road we want is actually running to the south of that, so I'm off course right now. And the other landmark is the golf course that you can kind of see there, right in front of the helicopter. And the road runs to the left of that, or south of that as well. Now in the distance you can also see the main road, A8, that we're not on, but which you could be on if you chose to. You can look at the maps and decide what you want to do. Now I can see the D35, and you can see how it snakes through the mountains. Looks like a pretty scenic drive. I think the whole thing is only about 20 miles from the airport to where you're staying. Now it's pretty obvious where the road is. And actually, if you look in the distance, just about where the compass is, you can make out right there where my cursor is. I believe that's the structure, or the city thing you're going to. I know from the satellite view on Google Maps you don't really appreciate that it's up on a hill. It looks pretty cool. They didn't model it very well in this program. It's not really a major point of interest like some things. So what they used a lot of computer generated imagery. For example, there is a church in there, but it doesn't. The church that they put in there doesn't look anything like the real one. The one they put in there is kind of a cathedral-like structure, whereas the pictures I saw of the real church, it looks like a pretty small church. So you can't really do much with close-ups, of this area. You just kind of have to get the general feel for it from this. Now the road to the left is the road down to Cannes. So I'm going to let's kind of fly around this a little bit. You see that huge church they put on it? That's, I believe, not really there at all. It's usually pretty easy to tell the computer generated stuff because the buildings look pretty sharp and detailed, but they also somehow look kind of really fake. In other places they have the real buildings, but they they look blurred or kind of melty. Then there's some that they've done a great deal of detail on, which is in another video. So now we're looking back at the road we just came on and the road to the south to Cannes. So we'll fly down there, take a quick look at Cannes. The road to the left that goes up the hill is the A8 that you could have stayed on rather than exit to D35. Again, I'm just assuming you guys are going to rent a car. I'm probably don't know what the heck I'm doing here, but I'm just thinking, well, if I was there, this is probably what I'd do. I'd probably check it out. So now the road makes a left bend, and then there's an intersection here to this very straight avenue which runs all the way down to the water. And it looks like in Cannes they did spend a little bit of time modeling the structure at the end of this road, which I haven't really looked into it, but I suspect maybe it's the place where they show the movies. You just saw it pop up there. The computer just did that, and it's pretty sharp and detailed. And in comparing it with a satellite view on Google Maps, it looks pretty close to the real thing. But it's totally CGI with using some sort of modeling. And you can tell that there are outlines of boats. They look like they're submerged in the water there in the harbor. That's kind of funny. And a lot of these buildings that we're seeing here are also CGI, although when I tried to look at them on a satellite view, they generally resemble what's really there, but not precisely. So now I'm going to just head back up this avenue and we'll go back to where you're staying. So oops, there's a turn. I just missed it. hope this is not making anybody motion sick. And like I said, from the right, here is the A8 coming in. Whoops, I didn't see that coming. Fortunately, I have crash and damage turned off. I found that when I turn it on with the helicopter, it's almost impossible to land it without the program saying you've irreparably damaged your aircraft, so I turn it off. And now you can see where we're headed. We're headed right back to where you are. Okay. Thanks for watching.